Hello everyone and welcome back to my second video here on Numbers on Ice. Today we're going to be ranking the top 10 offensive defensemen. Last video I did the top 10 defensive defensemen, so I figured it would just go well together, or back to back. So some of the criteria I used to judge offensive defensemen, the first thing I did was goals above replacement, 5v5 goals above replacement per 82, and then 5v4 goals above replacement per 82, which is power play goals above replacement. And the goals above replacement model I chose to use was Chance McCallum's model, developed in March 2018. And if you don't know what goals above replacement is, it's essentially a war-like statistic in baseball where it's a measure that takes into account different components of an individual player's game to arrive at an estimate of their goals above a replacement level player, so similar to wins above replacement in baseball. The second thing I use to judge offensive defensemen is points, goals, even strength assists, and I tend to weight even strength production a little bit more than power play production, just because I think even strength goal scoring, even strength point production and assists are a much more difficult type of skill to have. The next thing I used was game score per 60, and if you're unfamiliar with what game score is, it's a metric developed by Dom Lecision of The Athletic, and it weights certain statistics like goals, assists, secondary assists, shots on goal to come up with a single metric. I also use some natural stat trick and Corsica data, such as high danger chances 4 per 60 minutes, Corsi 4 per 60 minutes, scoring chances 4 per 60 minutes, so those are just rate stats. And on Corsica, expected goals 4, 5v4, individual expected goals 4, and then zone entries. So some of my sources, Chance McCallum's goals above replacement model, I'll link it below. You can follow him at CMHockey66 on Twitter. Dom Lecision's game score model, and you can follow him on Twitter at Dom Lecision or find him on The Athletic. He's an excellent writer. Bill Como's tableau, which I used in my last video, at Billius27 on Twitter, Natural Stat Trick, and Corsica. So before I start my top 10, one guy I'd like to point out that just missed out my top 10 and I really wanted to get him in there was Roman Josi, and I just couldn't find a place for him. So at number 10, I have Dustin Byfuglien. So obviously when you think of Dustin Byfuglien, he was a forward for some part of his career, converted over to defense, and he's an excellent offensive defenseman. There's some questions about his defensive ability and his conditioning and discipline and stuff like that, but his offensive production cannot be denied. He's a perennial 50-plus point defenseman, produced 4.4 goals above replacement per 82 at 5v5 last season. He had 45 points in 69 games. I believe he was injured for a bit of it. And number 4 in individual expected goals 4 per 60. So he obviously has that booming clapper from the point. He runs that power play in Winnipeg with Line and Scheifele and Wheeler and Stastny, I think they had towards the end. So Dustin Byfuglien, obviously an amazing offensive IQ and definitely someone you want running your power play. And he's pretty good at even strength as well, just because he's so big and can muscle his way to the net. At number 9, I have Torey Krug, and I'm a huge Torey Krug fan, even though he's a Boston Bruin and I'm a Leafs fan. 4.2 5v5 goals above replacement per 82, which is pretty incredible. 59 points, 26 even strength assists, which I think is incredible. He gets sheltered a little bit in Boston behind McAvoy and Chara. And I had Chara on my top 10 defensive defenseman list, but Krug is an amazing talent in his own right. He's kind of the new age style, really small, puck moving, really quick defenseman. He was 9th in game score per 60 in Dom Lecision's model. 18th in expected goals for 5v4. So he's excellent on the power play. I believe he's on the top power play unit with Marchand and Bergeron and Pasternak, and they run that 1-3-1, and Bergeron is, by the way, excellent in that bumper role. But anyways, for Krug, number 7 in individual expected goals 4 per 60, 5v4. So he's amazing on the power play. One of the best power play defensemen in the NHL. I'd certainly want him running my power play. Yeah, he's excellent. At number 8, I have John Carlson. I think John Carlson overall is a little bit overrated. I don't think he's an amazing two-way defenseman or defensive defenseman by any means. I mean, he gets sheltered a little bit behind Matt Niskanen and Dmitry Orlov over there in Washington, but his presence on the power play and his presence on the team is definitely undeniable. I mean, 6.9, 6.69, 5v5 goals above replacement per 82. On the power plays where he really stands out, setting up Ovechkin on the one-timer, and he can even pass it to Backstrom on the right side. He produced 5.1 power play goals above replacement per 82. He had 68 points last season, 11 even strength goals, 25 even strength assists. So he's excellent at even strength as well as on the power play. And then number 3 in individual expected goals for per 60. So obviously, when you think of Carlson, he's what makes Washington's power play run as smoothly as it does, because he offers a different type of threat at the top of the power play setup that they run with Ovechkin on the left. There, he can quickly dish it off to Ovechkin for a one-timer, or he can thread it through to Backstrom, and they can run the power play that way. And he's just an amazing, terrific skater, big guy with amazing puck skills. Even dating back to his days in London, I remember watching him a little bit and coming over from, I believe he was in the U.S. National Team Development Program. He was incredible for London. At number 7, I have Shayne Gostisbere, and I'm a huge Shayne Gostisbere fan ever since his rookie season, where he kind of surprised everyone coming up from the AHL and was in the Calder race right to the end. So he produced 3.48 5v5 goals above replacement per 82. He had 65 points last season, 26 even strength assists. Number 1 in expected goals for 5v4, and number 2 in individual expected goals for per 60 5v4. So he's an amazing, probably, I'm not going to say he's the best power play quarterback in the league, but he's definitely up there. Another really small guy with terrific puck skills, like forward type puck skills, amazing skater. Can really pass the puck, can really shoot it. He has a deceptively hard one-timer that's really accurate, and a slap shot. So Shayne Gostisbere, I mean, Philly's got a really good one on their hands. Coming in at number 6 on my ranking is Victor Hedman. So obviously Victor Hedman is a key part of the Tampa Bay blue line, a key part of their power play, and the current Norris Trophy winner. And for very good reason, obviously. 6.53 5v5 goals above replacement per 82. He had 63 points, 15 even strength goals last season. That's obviously incredible. 15 even strength goals. A lot of forwards don't even get that. In fact, most forwards don't even get that, I think. If we were to put that in terms of percentiles, he'd probably be in the top 75 percentile for even strength goals. Number 11th in game score per 60 in Tom Luszczyszyn's model. Number 3 in goals for per 60, and number 8 in individual expected goals for per 60. So Victor Hedman, he's got amazing puck skills. He's a terrific skater, and he's 6'6", which is absolutely incredible. And he should be a perennial Norris Trophy winner or contender for the foreseeable future. Coming in at number 5 on my list is Seth Jones, and Seth Jones is obviously highly regarded as a prospect and as a young defender for a really long time. However, he just had his breakthrough campaign with the Columbus Blue Jackets last season, where he piled 57 points. He had 9 even strength goals, 24 even strength assists. So he's a monster at even strength. He's probably in the top 95 percentile in terms of even strength production for a defenseman. Probably top 3 percentile, probably 97th percentile, probably. For Seth Jones, he had 5.85 5 versus 5 even strength, goals above replacement per 82, so he's incredible there. He's the second defenseman. He's ranked second in game score per 60 in Dom Luszczyszyn's model. Number 8 in expected goals for. Number 7 in individual expected goals for per 60. And number 6 in individual expected goals for per 60, 5v4. So on the power play, he's also a monster. I think he ran the Columbus Blue Jackets top power play unit ahead of Zach Werenski last season, and given the results, he should obviously do it again. I mean, he's incredible. The first thing you notice about Seth Jones is, other than his puck skills, is his skating, especially for someone his size. He's 6'4". He's an extremely fluid and graceful skater, especially for someone that size. His gap is really tight, and what makes him an amazing offensive defenseman is just his IQ, and his puck skills are off the charts. Number 4 actually got traded this offseason, and that's Dougie Hamilton. And I've been a huge Dougie Hamilton fan for a really long time. I was actually pretty jealous of when Calgary basically got him for nothing. I believe it was like the 12th overall pick in the 2015 draft and 2 seconds or something like that. And last season he produced 8.32 5v5 goals above replacement per 82. He had 44 points, which isn't a lot, and 11 even strength goals, which is really good. But 44 points isn't too much compared to other defensemen on this list. But if you look at Calgary as a whole, they really underperformed their expected goals for, which they were supposed to achieve last season, and that they were just a team that underachieved as a whole. He was number 1 in game score per 60 on Dom Decisions model. He's obviously an analytics darling. Number 2 in high danger chances for per 60. Number 1 in chances Corsi for per 60. So he's a Corsi god. Number 8 in scoring chances for per 60. Number 5 in expected goals for. Number 5 in individual expected goals for per 60. Number 4 in individual expected goals for per 60, 5v4. And I don't think he even ran the top power play unit on the Flames. I think it was a mixture of Giordano and Brody. But I think that he should get a much larger look at that. They already have a really good power play defenseman there in Carolina in Dustin Byfuglien, but maybe they run a 2 defenseman unit, which isn't very common nowadays with most teams running the 1-3-1 umbrella. But Dougie Hamilton, he's an incredible player. I don't know why the Flames traded him. I think Noah Hannafin is significantly worse than Dougie Hamilton, but that's off topic. Number 3, Erik Karlsson. Erik Karlsson didn't have the best season last season offensively. Obviously, he was coming off that ankle injury that he suffered during the 2017 playoffs when the Ottawa Senators were 1 goal away from the Stanley Cup final, as crazy as that sounds. But I think he's criminally underrated right now. He's probably still, in my mind, the second best, or if not the best defenseman in the NHL, assuming full health. And yeah, so 9.98 5v5 goals above replacement per 82, which is amazing. And he had 62 points last season and 37 even straight assists. So he still put up amazing, Erik Karlsson type numbers. I don't believe he was a point a game. I think he played like 67 games last season, but that's not really a true reflection of how dominant Erik Karlsson usually is at 5v5 or on the power play. Otto is just a mess and a tire fire, so I'm not going to read too much into his advanced stats from last season. I have a large enough sample of data from the previous 5 seasons to suggest that he's probably, he is the best defenseman in the NHL of the past 5 seasons and deserves a couple more Norris trophies. Number 2 on my list, John Klingberg, and this one's pretty obvious. I mean, John Klingberg is outstanding. 7.93 5v5 goals above replacement per 82, 67 points, 37 even strength assists, number 7 in game score per 60, number 8 in high danger chances for per 60, and number 3 in expected goals for, and then number 3 in expected goals for 5v4. I also think John Klingberg is a better defender than people give him credit for, but obviously his puck skills are outstanding. I mean, he might be the most skilled defenseman in the NHL after Erik Karlsson. His skating is just outstanding. His puck skills are outstanding. His IQ is outstanding. And he obviously plays with some very talented forwards there with Sagan and Ben and Radulov and Spezza, and next season Nichushkin, and maybe in the future Guryanov and Faxa, and maybe even further into the future Delantria. So John Klingberg, if I were to pick, I mean, he's also on an incredible contract as well. If I were to pick defenseman to start my franchise with, he'd probably be on a short list, a handful of defensemen I'd probably consider. And number 1, this one should be obvious. It's Brent Burns. There's been no more, over the last 2 seasons, I'd say, no more dominant offensive defenseman than Brent Burns. Maybe Erik Karlsson, assuming he was at full health, but in terms of pure offensive ability, I think Brent Burns is pretty garbage defensively, but in terms of pure offensive ability, Brent Burns is untouched. 10.83 5v5 goals above replacement per 82. So even he kind of gets a reputation as a power play specialist, but he's really not. He's really effective even strength. He had 67 points, 32 even strength assists, and that was actually in a down season last season, and he still managed 67 points and 32 even strength assists. He takes a ton of shots on goal. I know he's like a fantasy god because whenever I play in my fantasy leagues, he's always incredible and racks up a ton of points just based on the amount of shots on goal he takes. Number 6 in game score per 60 in Dom Decisions model. Number 15 in high danger chances for per 60. Number 3 in Corsi for per 60. Number 4 in expected goals for. Number 1 in individual expected goals for per 60. And number 2 in expected goals for 5v4. So he's probably my opinion, he's the best power play quarterback in the world just because of his ability to distribute the puck as well as shoot. He has an incredible shot, an incredible vision, incredible offensive IQ. He is heavily sheltered in San Jose. Like, if you watch my last video, Marc-Edouard Vlasic is in like the 99th percentile in terms of quality of competition. So he's heavily sheltered because Pierre DeBoer knows he's pretty bad defensively, but he really makes use of those offensive minutes and those prime offensive minutes. And he's obviously an incredible player and an incredible personality as well. So this concludes my video on the top 10 offensive defensemen. I hope you enjoyed the video, and stay tuned for my next video. Thank you. Bye.